Namibia was situated at the South Pole, but that was 300 million years ago. Since then, it has drifted north to its current position, centred around the Tropic of Capricorn in Africa. It has an area over 3 times the size of the United Kingdom, but with a population of only 2 million people. We fly to the capital, Windhoek, where we immediately transfer to this small aeroplane for our journey to Cannon Lodge, a convenient location to visit the Fish River Canyon. Our home for the next 2 nights. Our first view of the wildlife, a kudu. A swimming pool with a view.
This is a quiver tree, the national tree of Namibia. Note the sociable weaverbird nests. There are estimated to be about 150 of them. On the road to the Fish River Canyon. The Fish River Canyon is reputed to be the second largest canyon in the world. The canyon is 161 kilometers long, up to 27 kilometers wide, and almost 550 meters at its deepest. It is now time to leave Cannon Lodge and the Fish River Canyon and fly to Kulala Desert Lodge near Sisrion. Physically, the main features of Namibia are the Namib Desert in the west, which we are flying over now, and the Kalahari Basin in the east, with the highland plateau in between. These three run side by side for almost the entire length of the country. Plains occupy about 60% of Namibia, and mountains merely 19%, and the rest is dunes and some woodland over the northeast, where they have much more rain than in the rest of the country. And here we are, arriving at Kulala Lodge's airstrip.
A room with a view.
Like from the cars to there.
Yeah.
So over time we've managed to build a good relationship. First sighting in 2 months.
Oh, you're joking.
We don't see these guys every day.
Heidi and Edward, getting ready for a sundowner.
Almost ready.
It's an early morning rise to catch the sand dunes at their very best.
Yeah.
This is Dune 45.
But however, it's important to know that
It's a real struggle walking up these dunes, and I'm getting left behind. Coming down is an awful lot easier than going up, as Heidi demonstrates.
Overconfident.
no, it's fine. Like I said, you won't break anything.
No.
This is So Seuss Fly, a clay pan set amongst these enormous sand dunes. This used to be a lake, but nowadays water fills the pan only about once in every decade. Some of the trees here are over 500 years old. Whilst most of the canyon is dry, there is the occasional waterhole. This attracts a great deal of wildlife, particularly birds. The Cicerone Canyon, whilst not on the scale of the Fish River Canyon, is still dramatic in its own right, and is far more accessible at only 30 metres deep.
Baboons in the canyon.
Leaving Kulala Lodge, we take our final internal flight. We first fly west over the magnificent sand dunes until we reach the coast, and then head north to land in Swakopmund.
Chalet 6 at the Cornerstone Guest House, Swakopmund. Masked Weaver.
The jetty. A place for lunch.
Very wide streets in Swakopmund.
At Walvis Bay, we board a small boat to go into the lagoon to view flamingos, fur seals, pelicans, whales, dolphins, and much more besides.
Right. The seal you are seeing here is a Cape fur seal. And his name is Patso. Every female gets a baby, one baby every year. Always, it's the only seal that does this little flipper, and he does handstands. That's why they call him Patso, because he's crazy. He's not like and he always throws a pose. Nice. You did it quite good. You should. Why are you doing this? Feel quite nice. Right.
This is Elvis, our tour guide for our 10-day safari, with his Chelsea tractor.
Leaving Swakopmund, we drive north as far as Henties Bay, which is part of the Skeleton Coast, then inland to southern Damariland, and finally we spend 2 nights at Camp Kipwe. The Skeleton Coast is so named due to the number of ships that have run aground along this dangerous coastline. Here is one example. This area looks desolate, but it's deceiving as there is a great deal of life here, including several colonies of meerkats. We've come to southern Damariland to see a landscape that we've yet to see in Namibia.
Room 7. Local people use donkey carts for getting from A to B, and there can be up to 4 donkeys pulling one cart, as there is here. Rock hyrax.
Not far from Camp Kipwe is an area which holds some 2,500 prehistoric rock engravings that mainly depict wildlife.
These rock cavings are between 2 and 6,000 years old, but were discovered in 1921. This site is Namibia's first World Heritage Site.
In addition to the rock engravings, there are 2 other items of interest, which are called the organ pipes and the burnt mountain.
This is Burnt Mountain.
Due to the low level of rain and evaporation, southern Damariland is considered a desert, but a number of animals have adapted themselves to live here. We're on the search for desert-adapted elephants. Here lie a number of petrified trees on a bed of sandstone. Some are partially buried, while others are completely exposed because of the sandstone surrounding them has eroded away. It is thought that they were carried here as logs by a river some 260 million years ago and became stranded on a sandbank. Subsequently, sand was deposited around them, creating ideal conditions for the cells of the wood to be replaced by silica and thus become petrified. One can still identify the growth rings on some of these trees. This tree had been dead for a great number of years before petrification took place. This can be identified by the hollow section through the trunk. This is a welwitschia plant, quite common around the petrified forest. This plant is estimated to be about 300 years old, but they can live for over 1,000 years. Following our visit to the petrified forest, we hit the main road and travel north to Etosha. We spend 4 days here, 2 at Olkaukiojo and 2 further days at Onguma. It's great for at last to be on a nice smooth tarmac road. Etosha National Park is Namibia's premier wildlife reserve. Etosha is very large. It's about the size of Belgium, with a large clay pan in the middle, so vast that you can't see across it. Let's see what we can find here. It's not often you see a zebra crossing on these roads.
This is the greater kestrel.
bush full of cattle egrets.
One of Etosha's many watering holes. Yellow-billed hornbill.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's good to have a scratch first thing in the morning.
A secretary bird. That's all you need, people honking their horns.
These animals have been rolling around in the clay and have become very pale. I guess this is what you call a white elephant.
spotted thickly. White-backed vultures. This is Onguma, tented camp, and this is tent number 5. Dik-dik, Africa's smallest antelope.
It's time to leave Onguma and the Etosha National Park and head south to Okonjima. Okonjima is home to the Africat Foundation, a non-profit organisation committed to the long-term conservation of Namibia's large carnivores, especially cheetahs and leopards. This gives us an opportunity to see these animals, which are very difficult to find in the wild.
I'm looking for animals. Looks thin. Looks thin. Maybe it's just the way it's lying. They're big, aren't they? Dogs, I mean, they're really big.
Not Afri dog. So these dog, we got them in a said way that. That's this.
then they were not listening. They say, yes, we will do that, but at the end of the day, they end up shot a cheetah, losing them, until we end up with 7. All of them were killed by leopards. And we call at them, the one that's hunting for themselves, so we used to track them with this device. Just like your FM, they only have got short canine, very short. So just to eat, they don't even break bones. They only eat meat from the bone. So she's already 9 years, and they live up to 10 to 12 years. So in here, they might live longer. Mountain, that's the signal that we just picked up. So it was really strong. You can hear the belly. That's the male.
Slender mongoose.
Yes.
Just outside the camp, they have built a hide where they place scraps of food in order to attract nocturnal animals. Near Okonjuma is Ochakultu Lake, a year-round water resource, highly valuable in this very parched land. We are coming towards the end of our trip to Namibia, but spend the last few hours having a look round Namibia's capital, Windhoek.
Struggling. It was one of those we have mobilized a lot of young Namibians too
The Parliament building.
to go up.
Here we see the National Museum of Namibia. This was the first building to be erected in Windhoek and was originally a garrison.
Windhoek's rather elegant railway station.
After over 500,000 miles, this engine has been placed into retirement. It's time to head back to the airport and return home. I do hope you've enjoyed this film. Goodbye.
Bye.